All right. Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk with Patrick podcast. I appreciate the support once again. This brief intermission, I wanted to explain something real quick. When I was talking to Brandon, somebody had called his phone and it kind of interrupted a small segment of the interview. And he came back for sure. He did. But at the end, while he was talking, he was going to mention his social media handles so people can contact him for business. It went out on his behalf. So I'm going to put his information in the linear notes with a description so you can find him if you want to order cakes or if you need some audio production. That's your guy. All right. Anyways, here is the episode. Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk with Patrick podcast, one of the realest podcasts in the world, the land, the galaxy, and the whole entire universe. Man, I got my brother right here, man. This guy, I met him at art school a long time ago. He is from New Orleans and he moved to Atlanta a long time ago. He ended up being in the Marines. This is my guy, Brandon Sprowl. What's going on, brother?
Not much, man. Just still trying to wake up, man. Just driving on, but hey, just I'm happy to be alive, man. Just taking things one step at a time, bro.
Hey, that's a blessing, man. I'm glad to hear that, man. And also, congratulations with the marriage once again.
Man, appreciate it, man. And I tell if anybody who's planning on getting married, hey, they people are not playing. It's not for the weak. So be strong. Know what you want. Know who you want to be with, and the person you marry. Know that you're marrying their family. So be blessed, man. But I tell you what, I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. For real, I'm really happy for you. You seem to be real happy these days, so that's awesome, bro. But I
Man.
wanted to ask about because you do music like I done. So, what got you into doing music?
Oh wow. Uh it's basically, my family, cause literally you have aunts, uncles that know how to sing, play instruments. My grandparents, they had like all kinds of music, but my grandmother, she was mainly gospel. But my grandfather had a lot of jazz records, and a lot of which are out of print, and they will play that all the time. So you just kind of got an interest about it, and then slowly but surely, started getting keyboards. Didn't learn how to play a lick, so I was just dabbling on stuff to going into the band once upon a time, and after that, it just. Just kind of wavered a little bit, you know what I mean? So, until I kind of found what I wanted.
Right. Because I heard your beats, man, and your beats is dope. They're very different, especially out of New Orleans. Like it's different, man. It's not even close. You know what I mean? Like it's very it's your stuff is kind of soulful. It's different, man. It has a unique sound to it. You can tell you influenced by a lot of different genres.
Man, appreciate it, and and something I try to pride myself in is a lot of producers, like the old saying goes, is like everybody want to sound like everybody, but they don't want to sound like themselves.
Facts. I agree
So
with that.
I try my best, man. I really try.
Yeah, no, you doing it, man. You killing it for real, man. And I remember you telling me you was on a Netflix show, right? Was it Netflix?
Well, it was going to Netflix, but of course, with sampling issues and clearing them, that's going to kind of that's a work in progress. But 9 times out of 10 is going to go to YouTube, maybe Tubi, but it's called the House of Beats.
House of Beats.
Season one, you can actually catch it on YouTube and Tubi. Season two, that one is still something in the works. So they're trying to get all that going so they can go ahead and get the green light and just show it to everybody.
So what episode you on? You on season one, right?
No, I'm on season two.
Okay. I want to see that one.
Man, I encourage people to, if you like, I mean, watch season one first so you can kind of get an idea, because it was the first show of its kind. You always had the shows for singers, you always had the shows for rappers or whatever, but they never had one for producers. And shout out to Mr. J Rose, Justin Rose. This man is doing big things, man, out there in Dallas. He started this, he pioneered it with him, his crew, and everybody else. They really started this, and they got a lot of folks' attention off of YouTube alone.
Right. That's pretty dope, man. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing season two. Well, I want to see season one first, but I do want to see season two whenever it comes out. That'd be great.
But I recommend. I tell people this: if you watch them in some AirPods or something, I said, no, don't do that, man. Watch this sucker like at least a 2.1 sound system, some dope headphones or some monitors. Because trust me, I want you guys to feel what's going on up in there.
Yeah, absolutely. So you did production on there, right?
No, I was actually one of the contestants on the show, one of the producers on the show. So he
That's dope.
basically the first season, I think it was like 10, I believe. So they got him from everywhere, from Dallas, Louisiana, California, wherever, and he got him on that show. And it's basically challenges that every producer had to go through. And at the end, they had a beat battle. So the last man standing was the one that was declared the winner. And so that's kind of the gist of it. So when you see season two, if you like season one, season two is probably won't disappoint you. It's full of surprises.
Oh man, you got me anticipating now, man. I gotta see it for real. I do gotta see it. I gotta make time for it, man, for real.
Man, yeah,
So I kind of want to backtrack though. So my bad. So you from New Orleans. So how was
yeah.
the upbringing like in New Orleans, man? You from downtown, right? For eighth ward, right?
No, downtown, right off of what is it, North Rome and Spain Street, around that neighborhood. It's still there. St. Rock Park, about a couple of blocks down the way. To me, it was, as a kid, it was like I can't. The best way I could put it, it was pretty cool because you had a good portion of your family around you. So it was always good. Like, okay, I got cousins that live down this way. I got my grandparents here. I got aunts and uncles here, and literally like on the throughout the week, my grandmother was always cooking some dope food. And then on the weekends, we'll have like a pool party at an aunt uncle's house. So all the cousins, friends, and family all go there. I mean, it was just always food, great times, great memories, and of course Sundays we were always in church because of my
Right,
grandmother's. It was That was the thing. But to me, that was normal. So,
right.
but I moved to Georgia.
Yeah. So so when did you move to Georgia, by the way?
Oh Jesus, man, dude, I think I was like maybe 8, 9, something like that. Maybe it was
Oh, you've been there for
some.
a long. I thought you moved like, dang. Okay, that's all right. Never mind.
Yeah, I moved, but then again, we always kept traveling back and forth. So
But you been in Georgia longer than I thought though. I thought you moved in Georgia like in like 1998 or something like that.
now it's no, I moved here as a kid, but then again, kept traveling back and forth. It's like I stayed in Georgia, but it's always I kept going back. And then as you got older, as I got older, I spent a lot more time over there, especially being around my grandparents, man. And but as I got older, I mean, as a kid, you reflect back on some stuff that they taught you, but when you got older, it's like, oh, okay, it literally started clicking, and I just again those roots they never leave, man. Regardless, they never leave, and I see
So
what my
how
grandparents were talking about.
how different was New Orleans compared to Atlanta at that time when you was coming up?
Uh oh, screen just paused. Hold on,
Okay, can you hear
there
me?
we go. Yeah, the screen paused. I'm like, oh.
Oh, okay, no, you good. So how was that upbringing like compared from New Orleans to Atlanta? How was that change for you as
It
a
was
youngster?
night and day. It was night and day. Uh, cause literally I saw as a kid, you saw a lot of black owned businesses, a lot of family owned businesses that withstood the test of time. My grandfather was an entrepreneur. And again, everybody had their own stuff, man. Everybody just knew how to hustle and get out there and get it, man. It was amazing. And of course the music scene, it was always music. I mean, it didn't stop. It was always music. And of course, good food. You had to bond with your grandparents and that foundation that they gave you. It was everything. But when I moved to Georgia, and no, there was a lot. It was a lot more of us, so to speak, down in New Orleans. I mean, the schools, the publisher, everything. It was a lot of us. But when I came here, it was a total 360. I was like, wow, where am I? It's like I had to kind of learn stuff all over again and kind of make that adjustment. So it was different. I struggled with some stuff as well, but eventually got over it.
Yeah. Did you like Georgia compared to New Orleans, or you wanted to go back to New Orleans at that time?
Hell no, I wanted to go back.
Yeah. You was homesick, huh?
Yeah, yeah, shoot, man, I wanted to go back so bad, man. Then getting used to walking up and down hills, dude. I was like, Lord, my legs were killing me. Like, this is not the move, man. Like, come on. I I missed all that, but I guess as time goes on, you kind of meet people from not just Georgia, but I met people from the Caribbean at a very young age. I was like, oh wow, this is cool. Africa, I mean, all over the place. It was pretty cool. So I was like, all right, this is unique. And then I kept moving a lot when I was here. I went to so many schools, dude. I lost track.
Really? Why? What happened?
We kept moving.
Oh, yeah, I get it. Yeah. Yeah, we
We
moved a
kept
lot too
moving.
when I was a kid.
Yeah, because Louisiana. Look, like I said, I've been to Phyllis Wheatley. We was at that school for a minute. My mother taught at that school, and yeah, I'm telling my age. Yeah, once upon a time when teachers were allowed to whoop you.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, oof. And then when I came here, it stopped. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But so it was different. So when we moved here, we lived in one place. I was at a school for like I think a year or so, and then we moved again. I was at the original school, and by halfway through whatever, we changed to the school that was closer to where we lived at. I was there for a couple of years. Then we ended up moving again. I was like, dude, I'm tired. Like, come on, can I just stay in one place?
Yeah.
And then that's why I just finished out the rest of the year at this one school, and then went to high school at Clarkston for a couple of years. And no, there weren't any. There was only one middle school at the time, and you had to live close by to go there. But at the time, Clarkson started at the 8th grade.
Damn.
Yeah, so I went to literally. I was like, ooh. So went there 8th and 9th grade, and then after that, transferred from Clarkson and ended up going to North Atlanta High School.
Wow.
So
Jeez, man.
I'm just like, dude, I'm so tired, man. But I say the thing, North Atlanta, that really gave me a solid foundation, a lot of good people. Clarkson, I don't take nothing from anything from my childhood schools back home to here to whatever, man. You met a lot of great people, and a good portion of them I keep in touch with still, man.
I was gonna ask about that as far as like making friends, because when you moving so much, it's really hard to make friends and build a foundation when you stay somewhere too long. At least for me, it was. So yeah, that's pretty cool though.
Mm-hmm. Man, you just had to kind of learn how to roll with the punches.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So when you was a child, when you first moved, were you depressed?
Man, yeah, I was sad. I was all that, dude. It's like, man, I'm like, where are my toys? Where are my grandparents? I miss my cousins, a few of my aunts and uncles, man. Just seeing them, that it was just that whole bond, and that does something to you. You know what I mean?
How'd you deal with
One day at a time.
it? That's true. That's all you
Literally.
can do. Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
As a kid, it's like, man, you were just angry, sad, but nobody really talked to you about how you felt. They just kind of like, oh, you'll be
Mm-mm.
all right, just keep going. And I'm just like, no. And I tell folks, man, if your kids feel that way, man, please listen to them.
Facts. I agree with
Take
that.
because that that will trust me. That one time you take the time to really sit down and talk to them about how they feel and just let them express themselves, man, it's gonna mean the world to them.
Absolutely, man. I mean, I think like even with kids that get into gun violence and stuff, I think that's part of it because they don't have nobody to talk to. They have to lash out
Right.
somehow. they got to release their anger somehow. So that's what they do, you know,
Yeah,
and it's
some
very
kind of
very
outlet.
unfortunate. Exactly, and I mean that's why I got into like boxing and stuff. Man, it helped me release
Mm,
a lot of anger that I had. You know what I'm saying? Because when I was coming up, we had a lot of things going on for sure, a lot of dysfunction going on. We had good times,
right.
but we had a lot of dysfunction as well, man. For real shit. My sister tell
Damn.
you, for real. It was a lot. I'm like, man, I said this is ridiculous though, but we strong, man. We still going strong, bro. You know, and that's why I'm
Right.
glad you came in here to talk about this, man. Because I think as men, we got to start talking about these things, man. Like, just feel comfortable, have
Right.
this safe space to express ourselves.
Man, and funniest thing about it, you talking about a lot going on. And when I really thought about something else, there was a lot going on around me, but I was unaware of it because again, I was a kid. Because there was shootings going on, there was killings going on. And, there once upon a time, I remember when folks knew other folks that lived in the projects, and it wasn't as bad, believe it or not. But again, it probably was. But I'm still a kid, so I just remember, you know, like I think my sister, my older sister, once upon a time, she knew somebody there they went to school with, and I just remember just hanging there. It was cool. And then we got back home. You know what I mean? And I was just like, wow. Now I love catching the bus. That was my first time catching the public transit bus. Like, wow, this is pretty cool. Jumping on a streetcar. Cause again, there was no MARTA system like in Atlanta. We had streetcars kind of like in San Francisco. The bus will take you to the where the streetcars are at the port dock, whatever, and then from there you can just go to different parts of the city.
Right.
So that's what I got used to. But there was a lot going on. But as I got older, when I realized it, it just like, wow, dang, I didn't even know that because again, you're a kid.
Did it affect you in some ways or no? Like
Not
knowing that.
really. Some, I think, honestly, my grandparents and some of well, I had some cousins. Don't get me wrong, they were about that life. You know what I mean? But they knew how to kind of keep it out there. But when it came to coming around us or whatever, they just knew like, nah, don't bring that around here because they know some stuff could follow them. But my grandparents, because they kept me and my siblings and them, they kept us active, like church. Of course, summertime, vacation Bible school. We had to do chores. They would take us to the Louisiana Children's Museum. They'll take us to the zoo. We'll go swimming at the Red Cross. I mean, they just kept us busy.
Right.
So, and that helped a lot, a whole lot.
Yeah, that's good, man. You know, that's really good because I know for me, we went to church, you know, for a little bit, but it was just so much going on because like my pops, he didn't shelter us at all for anything. You know, what I mean? Like we was around all kind of we was around all kind of stuff. Like man, you know, when I look back, I said, God dang, man, so no wonder why I was messed up a little bit. But you know, I I got myself together though, like I did therapy and everything.
That's good, man. As long as
Yeah.
you didn't go down that path.
No, I could have though. You know what I'm saying? Because I was friends with some people who were, and of course some of my relatives they were as well.
Right.
And I got a few partners of mine that's in prison. They've been there for a long time, and I'm supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
interviewing one of them real soon. But
Oh, wow.
so I've been around it, man. I just like I said, I'm like you, bro. Like I'm just trying to go a different trajectory and break that curse. You know what I'm saying? For real,
Yeah,
because that
absolutely.
curse plagues so many families, man. You know, it's real.
Whew. Some folks are still struggling with it. I've seen it, man. And I know I've seen sad part about it. I had cousins that were young, like at 16 and 17, that were murdered.
Yeah, me too.
And
Yep.
it's sad. I was like, dude, you haven't even start to live your life yet. You were still at the coming up stage till you got to that part to start living. They never made it. And some of them passed away from, unfortunate events like a car wreck or whatever, you know what I mean? But the ones that got killed like that, it's still heartbreaking.
It is, man. Especially when you go to the funeral and you see the parents and it's sad, man. It's yeah, you never forget that experience at
Mm.
all.
Yeah, funerals. I'm ugh. Yeah. It does something to you, man. It's yeah.
But I want to
So,
say
but
though, I'm proud of you though, man, because like you could have easily went that route as well, and you end up going a different route. You know what I mean? Like you're a very positive dude. You're very comical. You're just an all around good person, a real stand up solid dude. So I commend you for that.
man, I
Especially
tried.
where we come from. You know what I mean? Like come from the South, like you know how it is, man.
Exactly. What's his name? Like I said, that I thought about something that hit home. The UGK album, "Riding Dirty." When Big D, when he had that intro, I mean that interlude before Diamonds and Wood came on, when he's like, it's always the smallest towns or whatever they be getting at folks or whatever. It's everybody like, LA, Detroit, whatever, but it's other cities out there where folks will get at you. You just don't hear about it. It's sad. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
right.
And I was like, yeah, so listen to that, classic album now, a lot of stuff still rings true to this day, man. I mean, that album withstood the test of time and still going.
Yeah, I mean, it shows you not much change besides the year and the technology and the players in the game.
Right.
It's the same shit. Unfortunate.
Yeah, it's sad, man. So just gotta kind of work around it as best as you can.
So how do you deal with things now? Like, are you doing any therapy or are you talking to people besides you and I? What are you doing for that?
I smoke crack. No, I'm just kidding. No, no.
I'm gonna call a rehab center for you, man.
No, you not. You gonna call somebody else with that straight jacket. Hey, this is for your own good. I promise you, man. I love you, man. No, dude. No. No, dude. Honestly, I'm actually going to be starting mental health. I have to. You know what I mean? Because from the stuff that I experienced in the military, it's like woo. And to me, I thought it was just normal, but then somebody had to sit down and talk to me like, bro, that's not normal. Like, nah, you really got to talk to somebody, man, and go and make sure you all right. And I understand a lot of folks, because as before, when I was in high school, I always remember like folks would say, don't go to military because people in military are crazy. They snap, blah, 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 blah. Then being in and coming out of it, I understand why now.
Mm,
It makes all the difference. I said, okay, I get it.
right,
Because the average person, they'll just be like, "Oh, they crazy, they crazy." And Dave Chappelle said that one thing. Said, "No, that's BS." Because people will just say something is crazy because they don't understand it.
right.
It's like, "Oh, he's crazy," blah blah blah. No, you're not understanding it or what's happening. So that's just the answer to just kind of pass that off. But once you understand it, it's like, "Oh, okay, I get it. I totally get it."
Well, I said the same thing when I was a kid because you remember you had the people from Vietnam. You know what I mean? So some of
Yep.
them was kind of a little out there. Because I had relatives that was in Vietnam too. Rest in peace to some
Mm-hmm.
of them. But yeah, I get it. So, but so before we get into the Marine thing, what got you into the Marines in the first place? Like, what made you want to join?
Oh boy, honestly,
Don't make up nothing. Like, tell the truth for real, man.
that honestly. Cause I was messed up myself now. No, man. Honestly, I had to say, be the truth be told, that was God speaking. I had to. It was, you know, I was working a job, then working another job, and it just got old. I say, dude, and I just looked around and thought about it, like, okay, what is there to do? Trying to do music, then there was really nothing there or nobody to teach you how to do it. Nobody was going to take the time for you to do it, and trying to get the money to come up with the equipment. It was a lot, so, and I just heard this voice that just said, go. You got to make a move. Now's the time to make a move. Just go. And I listened to that voice and I signed up, kept going, and it was me and one of my dearest friends, Charlie. We both went in at the same time. And Charlie, I met when I went to North Atlanta. He was one of the first people I met. So, and we went in. The only difference was he was on a 5-year contract. I was on a 4-year, and me and Charlie got split up in basic training.
Mm.
So again, I was by myself again. So it was like, wow. But hearing that voice, that was God that just said, "Go, you gotta go." You know what I mean? Because you gotta. I mean, you can either sit here and keep doing what you're doing, or just step out on faith. And I'm glad I stepped out.
Wow, that's a big change, though. So, how was it when you first got in? Like, wasn't it an adjustment?
Boy, shoot, adjustment is being nice.
Yeah.
Boy, it was more like shock and awe. It's like, okay, you kind of the old saying. I tell folks this: you have an idea, but you don't have a clue.
That's
It's
pretty deep.
different. It's different. You have an idea, but you don't have a clue. You just go by what they document on TV or what people tell you. But until you actually go through it and see what's happening, you'll never know. You're still on the outside looking in.
So it's not even close to how it is on TV. Nowhere near.
Nah,
Dang.
I tell folks
Jeez.
like, no, again, you have an idea, but you don't have a clue.
Right.
But so it's almost like along the lines where the funny thing, somebody could say like, well, you don't know what it's like this and this or whatever. Okay, that's like me saying, oh, I know what it's like to give birth to a child.
Right.
No,
Not even close. No.
you have an idea, you hear the stories, but you don't have a clue because you never went through and experienced that, and you never will. So, yeah.
Right. 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 Makes sense. Makes sense.
Hmm.
So, if you can do it all over again, would you ever go back to the Marines, or would you go a different route?
The funny part about it, the branch I was gonna join at first,
Well,
the Air Force.
why you didn't go to the Air Force? Why? You smart enough.
Well, I could have went, but I know I needed that discipline, man. That was just me. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna push myself to that limit. I'm gonna go in, and yeah, that was one of the best decisions I made, man.
Mm. So, how
That
did
was
it
one of
shape you, though? How did it make you more disciplined?
the. It's more of a mindset. If some like one of my guys told me a story. Like his house almost caught fire because of a barbecue grill. I mean, the barbecue grill had oil. It had like all that stuff at the bottom. He didn't clean it out. Next, the fire caught it, and I mean, his grill went up in flames. And if it would have touched his deck, oh, it would literally would have touched his fire. Everybody else didn't know what to do. But regardless, for some strange reason, I remained calm, and I knew I like let me go get some baking soda. I stayed real calm. Didn't focus on the panic. I just focused on what had to get done. Grab some baking soda and just douse the fire right there. No
Wow.
problem. So it's a different mindset, but once I get locked in on something, I'm like, you're not changing my mind. I'm going in. So before then, it was literally I had no discipline, man. So, but now it's a lot more, more focal, more direct, or whatever. Once I get locked in on something, especially when we had those studio sessions in our school.
Yeah.
So
Yo, I remember those days.
now you remember training day.
Yeah.
Shout out to Solomon Capers.
Shout out to Solomon. What's up, man?
Solomon's the only person in history that turned training day into a comedy. Solomon, you ruined that movie for me. I can never stop laughing. So Patrick, Danny, Rome, everybody that was in that class that day. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Solomon.
I could never watch the movie the same after that, man. Like he messed it up for me for life, man. Every time this scene come up, I think about like, oh man.
Why are you laughing at this movie? I said you just had to be there.
I'm no
again, they have an idea, but they have no clue.
facts. It's an experience, man, for real.
Exactly. You missed it.
Jeez, man. Yeah, that was crazy right there, man. Shout out to
Uh,
Solomon, man.
Solomon's my guy, man.
That dude
Solomon's a
brilliant.
solid dude, man.
Yeah, he is. He real, man. He real funny. For real.
See, you can't stop laughing.
Shit.
Yes, indeed, man.
Oh man. Oh Lord have
But
mercy. My head hurt now, but go ahead, my bad.
maybe it's the hat. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe.
No, man, but but yeah, bro. But a lot of experiences, man. It's those from everything in life. Just try to stay focused, maintain discipline, and I say Danny. Speak to him or Solomon, anybody, they contested this, man. There was times where we were booking on studio sessions, and I tell folks nobody was beating us. You were not like we had like multiple sessions in a 24-hour span to literally just coming in, setting up, record, break everything down, turn the stuff back in, check it back out. We did that for over 24 hours, man. Then had to break everything down, and then had to come back to that same room later on for class. So
Discipline, man.
whew, boy, yeah, we still talk about that, and I say, dude, I don't think nobody did something like that. You know what I mean? But we did. We just kept it moving. We knew
Right.
we had to get what had to get done. We stayed focused, and everybody held each other accountable.
That's awesome,
So,
man. You remember back in the day, we used to have it to like midnight, remember?
oh yeah, we had them crazy. We had like 11 o'clock, 12 midnight, 1 in the morning, two. I was like, Lord, whew, all right, but we had to stay focused, man. That was it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, nah, I
Hmm.
mean it's definitely it's a commitment for sure, and I'm
Right,
glad you was able to take that experience from the military and apply it to real life situations.
man. And I only want to talk about some of the near death experiences I've seen and almost been in on the road and just life in general, man. It's just kind of keeping that calm, that poise. You know what I mean? So
Does that bother you to this day? Those experiences. Do you think about that sometimes or what?
it's bothersome at times. I can't front, because it does play tricks with your mind. But again, that's why going to therapy is going to be the main changes so I can really, really buckle down.
Mhm.
So it does play tricks on your mind at times.
So is this your first time doing therapy? Or you done therapy before?
No, it's gonna be my first time doing therapy.
Okay,
So
well,
it's
be transparent, bro. You know what I mean? I done it I did it back in '96. It was
hmm
a taboo at the time because my cousin, she got killed at the time. She got murdered, and it really
wow,
like it messed with me big time. Then I did it
right,
again when my mom had passed because I felt like I was going insane because like all this stuff that I dealt with for so many years,
right,
I suppressed, I buried it, and then once my mother died, that's when everything started to surface, and I felt like I was about to lose my mind, so I had to, you know, call and seek some help because I take care of my
right,
physical health, but my mental health was not being taken care of at all. I'm neglecting it,
right.
and I can admit that.
hmm And I'm to the point where when people ask me how I feel, I will tell them like I'm not okay. I could be better, but I'm not okay. And I'm okay with not being okay.
Hey, I respect it. I
That's
respect
it.
it big time. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. Dang, I respect it. I'm happy to hear this, man. I think more people, more guys need to have these conversations, man. For real, real talk.
hmm
Because it's so much
Right.
suicide going on amongst men, even in the military. A lot of suicide that goes on, and you know what I'm talking
And
about.
yeah, and sad to say that I've seen that when I had a couple of guys, one actually succeeded in taking his own life because of stuff like that, and another person he was about to do it, and somebody called him, and one of these people was me and another partner was our roommate, and I was like, wow. And the guy who ended up going off the deep end like that, it was because a lot of people kept messing with him, and it messed with his brain really bad.
Mm,
And he couldn't take it. He got depressed, this and this, and then the next morning it was it.
damn.
I was like, wow.
Wow. Jeez, man, that's sad, man. So, do they have
Mm.
anything for guys in the military as far as like mental health treatments that you know of? I know you've been out the game for a long time.
Well, I talked to one of my guys who's still in. He said they have some stuff now from a lot of folks that come back, and they have people, especially when they come from back with PTSD or whatever. They actually have stuff like that now, much better. Because that for then it was more like, you know what, you okay, this and this, just keep moving. That's just part of life, blah blah blah. Just drive on. I'm like, no, that's not part of life. Because a lot of people were pretty straight before they came in. That when they came out, it was like a total 360.
Mm. So, with that said, do you recommend people even join the military?
You know what? It's all depends. I would say yes in some cases, like, yeah, go for it. You know, if this is what you want to do, go for it. But for those, I tell those this: if you don't, if you're trying to force yourself to go, I said, man, be real with yourself. Ask yourself this question: can I do this for a certain period of time, whether it's in the reserves or full time active duty? Can I do this for full time? Because you know you got to wake up in the morning. You're going to be learning stuff you never thought you would be learning. This and this. You're going to have the chain of command. Somebody's always over you until you start picking up rank and getting better at your MOS or your job. It's always going to be like that. You got to be real, because some folks, they cannot take a simple task, yet alone somebody telling them what to do in a sense. They can't take that because they be ready to fight all the time. And I'm like, then you don't want that, because that's going to ruin you before you even get started.
Mm.
So it goes both ways. I say, if you want to go, some people, I encourage them to go. If this is what you want to do, kudos to you, more power to you. But just know that if if you're having mental problems now, and this is what they don't teach in a sense, you're going to have some mental stuff. Don't try to push it off like, oh, this is normal, this is whatever, blah blah blah. No, get mental health while you're in, and there's a lot more stuff for you to get your mental health now than it was before.
Wow. So, what is the pros to join the military?
Hmm. The pros of joining the military. Well, depending on what your job is, you get to travel to a whole bunch of countries. You do. You get to travel. You actually get to shoot weapons, and it's perfectly legal. I mean, you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Like shooting rifles, throwing, explosive, doing all kinds of stuff. I mean, and you actually learn more stuff about yourself that you never thought you could actually pull off.
Hmm.
Unless you've been in a household with, a bunch of siblings, you actually get to experience a little bit of a leadership role in a sense. Whereas, especially if you're doing combat training, it'd be like you and five other guys. You guys got to go on this mission, whatever. Let's see if you guys can come back and do this, this, and this. And the main thing is to keep your guys alive. I mean, all this stuff that you're learning, and then of course you're applying it to life. So you want to keep your people alive, whatever. So, but you put it in a whole nother perspective. So stuff like, I mean, like nuggets like that is great. Those are like some good pros, man. And then you really get a bond with some of those folks that's like for life. I mean, you those bonds will never go away.
That's respect. So, what are the cons to join the military, from your perspective and your experience?
Well, those were the pros. The cons. It's almost, how can I put it? There's a lot in my opinion. Some things it's like you literally got to give up who you were to become who you are. In a sense, it's a pro and a con because most people, you don't realize that you're different until you come out. Because people remember how you were when you went and all the knucklehead stuff you did, but when you come out, you try to go back to being that same person when you realize this feels weird. I'm like, yeah, you're trying to go back to something that you were, and that's not you. So you're going to be playing. That's going to play a trick on you, but just kind of embrace the change that you went through. Um, the other kinds, yeah, you're going to experience some mental stuff and you're not aware of. They just won't tell you. But again, make sure you seek help. They also said there was times where they said racism and of course what is it kind of going with the in crowd, whatever doesn't exist in the military, it does.
Mm.
So you got to be much more aware of it and just be prepared because it's going to come at you. You know what I mean? Because, and again, like bullying and this, how people just gang up, especially if you're just coming out of basic training, or even if you've been there for a minute. There's stuff that happens like that. So just be very mindful. So I mean, that's just a few, man, that I could think of right off rip. So
So how did you navigate through all this stuff while you was in the military?
I had the right people around me. That's it. You got to have the right people around you and know the right people to talk to who can really pour into you and teach you how to navigate through some stuff. So that if you try to go at it alone, then you're just doomed for failure by yourself. You just don't even realize it.
Interesting. Wow. I can see that though for sure. You got to have a support system in that. Yeah. Yeah, wow. Damn. Well, I mean, honestly, me knowing you and when I first met you, I never could tell you had any issues at all. You know what I mean? I couldn't tell because you always had this persona. You always joking around and clowning and stuff like that. Just a cool dude. You know what I mean? But that shows you never know what people dealing with.
Man. And one dope album I think I told you before. I tell folks, man, go listen to it. Royce the 5'9", The Book of Ryan. That one, whew, wow, it's a dope album. And one of the things he said, always check on your strongest friend because they're the ones that are always going through a lot. I mean, a simple phone call pick up, man. Like, I hope you're all right. Something popped on my heart, my mind to just call you. So I'm calling you, man, just to check on you, just make sure you're all right. And that as small as minute as you may think it be or it is, that's the biggest thing in the world. Just call that person
Right.
because you'll be surprised.
Right. Just show somebody that you care. Right.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Little
Hmm.
things.
That's why I try to call your behind a lot. I say, man, I haven't heard from man. Let me get it. Call.
Nah, I mean, you honestly, you like one of the few people who call me, man. Because like, I be so busy, but people don't really call me that much. Like only a couple of people do. Because I'm so
Mm,
strong. You know what I mean? Like I carry myself a certain way, and it's like, look, I have stuff going on too. Trust me, I have stuff going on in my mind. I do, absolutely, I do. I'm still processing
right.
things. You know, especially all these
There you
years we've
go.
been alive and all the experience that we have. You got to process things, man. Because I'm still trying to evolve and trying to grow into a better person. Not a perfect, but just a better person.
Right. That we're never gonna be perfect. So get that out your head. We're never gonna be perfect.
Exactly, man. So I was
And
gonna
that's
ask this. Oh, go ahead. My bad. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no. Go ahead, man. You about to go ahead and go ahead and keep them firing.
Nah. I was gonna kind of segue into art school because you had brought that up when we was in, doing music stuff. So
Hmm.
you had just got the military, right? And then you got into art school. So what got you into art school? Like, what made you want to go to that school?
Actually, I've been out the military for some years, and again, it was just working jobs, this and this, and then I landed a job at the airport, and I was there for some years, and there was this one guy I worked with or whatever, Tim, cool brother, real down to earth, family man, this and this, whatever. He asked me something that I mean, he was real cool and he really just came at me real, man, and real humble, real genuine. And he noticed that I had a drum machine that anytime I would go take a flight somewhere, I always had my bag and my drum machine. I was always doing something on it. And he said, "You need to ask yourself this question: Do you want to stay here and do this for the rest of your life, or you want to get out there and figure and do what Brandon Sprowl loves to do? Don't answer it now. Go home and go to sleep. Think about it, whatever. And when I see you tomorrow, I'm waiting for your answer." I was like, "All right." And it was kind of deep. And when I gave him my answer, and I said, "See, now you just got to find the avenues to get there to go ahead and learn it." And that's when I was like, you know what? I got to use this, my education benefits to get whatever. And the first school I was going to go to was the SAE Institute of Technology in Nashville. That was my first choice because again, there wasn't really schools kind of teaching you that. But the problem that I had with the SAE, it wasn't an accredited school.
Oh, okay.
So they were not going to help me get there. I was like, wow, thanks. So, I know there was what is it? American Intercontinental. I remember them.
Hmm.
I think I tried to apply for them. Nothing came. It was like that was a no go. I was like, wow. So again, years passed by. I'm this time I started working at Circuit City, which was right down the street from the school.
I remember that. Yeah.
And I just remember the commercial came on for the Art Institute. I was like, oh wow, okay, I've heard about this, but not sure. And then applied for it, and this, and everything came back green. Went for it, and that was it. So it just kind of led me in that direction.
Yeah, I remember. I think you was going a little longer than before me, but I remember I met you. You knew my sister before you met me, though. You met her
Right.
first,
Yeah. Math tutoring lab, and in the next semester, that's when I met you. And
right?
we went downstairs. You like, I gotta wait for my sister. You mind walking with me? I'm like, yeah, sure. And we were sitting there talking, and I see Jay walking up. I'm looking like, what the? Wait a minute, hold up. I was like, wow. And you looking at me like you about to hit me? Like, man, how you know my sister? I was like, dude, relax. Like, relax, calm down, calm
you,
down, sir.
you want these across your lips? No, just playing. No, just joking, man.
Yeah, I kicked you in the groin.
That's a neutralizer right there, man, or equalizer. Yeah, for
Yeah, yeah. Now, yeah, catch your breath. Catch your breath. Here, put this ice pack on. Yeah, yeah. Take it. Yeah, breathe, man. Breathe. Ah.
I remember you had that truck back then too.
No, actually, that was you talking about that old school truck.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I rode with you one
Oh,
time.
yeah. I was actually my best friend Eric. That was his truck.
Oh,
Oh Lord, he went out the country, and that truck. The thing about that truck, you cannot let it sit there, and it was cold. I was like, God, dog. So you had to keep it. I had to literally drive it every other day just to keep it good. Cause some days when you would start, it was hell trying to start. But once it fired up, I was like, cool. I had to let that sucker sit and just let it go, let it go, let it go. And once it got hot enough and it made that sound, like, all right, it was like, yeah, that truck was loud. Had to put fuel,
it was.
gas. But hey, it was dope though. People just honk their horn. Yo, I like this. I was like, man, let me hurry and pump gas in this truck, get to school, whatever, and come on back, man. Golly.
Yeah, that's
But
rough, man.
yeah, it was cool though, man, at the same time. So yeah.
Jeez, man. And then you said Circuit City, man. Wow, that's a throwback now.
Oh boy. Hey, yeah. And I was driving a delivery truck then, delivering TVs, and I literally had to leave. There was days I had to leave work, literally get off work, hurry get stuff done, clock out, get in my car, and come right down the street to go to night classes
Man, that's a lot, man. That's
in the same
exhausting.
day, and go home and then try to get rest and wake right back up to go to work.
Jeez, man. You weathered the storm though. You did. Look at you
Yeah,
now.
yeah, I'm crazier than ever. No.
Yeah, look at your hair, man. Good lord. No, just joking, man. It's always good to see you, man. You really in good spirits. So I know you got stuff you're dealing with, but you really are in good spirit overall. You know what I mean? Like you have
Man,
good
I
energy
try,
about yourself, man. Hmm?
and I tried, and
It's all you can do.
people, yeah, people will say stuff to you, do stuff to you, this and this. You can say your piece, you can move on, but if those who don't want to interact or whatever with you, you know what? That's cool too, man. If I try my best to whatever, and you still don't want to interact or talk, whatever, you know what? That's fine. And I have to be okay with it because again, my mental health means more means more to me than your feelings any day.
So with that said, do you feel like nowadays, do you think people are more selfish these days? Do you feel like that?
Yes and no. In a sense, well, it all depends. Sometimes it's good to be selfish. If being selfish means you got to keep your mental peace, then I'm selfish. You know what I mean? Because you ever felt yourself overextending yourself for not just one person or several people who really don't care much about it or whatever, as long as they're getting what they want in the time, and you're the one that's end up broken more than what have you. So it's like, yeah, there's times where you have to be selfish, to preserve your mental. So, but I said, still be a caring person. Don't get me wrong. You want to be caring this, that, and the third. But if it comes to you having to sacrifice your mental health to try to quote unquote please another person, then dude, my mental health comes first. I'm not doing it.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. So with that said, what you doing music, right? Because we talking about mental health and all that. So what you doing music, does that help you with your mental health? Just having that creativity and having that time where you can dive deep into your creativity.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because there's like every producer will probably, and if every producer I know, if they say, man, I'm always making stuff, I never have an off day, they lying, they lying, they lying. There are going to be some days where it's nothing hitting you, so you got to step back for a minute and kind of take a break. You have to, and then once that spark clicks, you feel that spark, man, just go in, just go in. It's good to really just dive in, just get everything out or a good portion of your stuff out, your creativity. That's your outlet. And for those, and I tell people this, if you ever see a producer, a painter, anybody that's doing art, please do not interrupt them because you might get cussed out or backhanded because they're in that mode.
That is so true.
Once people are in that mode, just leave them be. Don't interrupt them. Let them do what they do. Let them get whatever it is out because whatever moment they have, they will not get that back. And some folks who just gonna try to brush it, oh, he'll get it back. I need help with this, man. Look, bump your help. Let them take care of this real quick. You know what I mean? Let them get this out because again, it's the creative side that's coming out, but they also might be dealing with some stuff up here too that helps them get that out. So don't interrupt them. And I tell
Right.
this to folks who have no idea.
Hmm. Now that makes sense though, because I'm the same way. When I do have the urge to make a track, don't bother me. Just let me be, for real. Because I'm
Right.
not gonna be the most nicest person if you interrupt it. I'm not. I'll be honest with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just
It's called
it just
5 across the eyes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just like when I'm working out, man. Like when I'm hitting the bag and stuff, some people like to come
Right.
talk to me, which is fine. But I be in the zone. Like I want to. I'm going through something. I got to get it out. You know what I mean? Like because I was a boxer
Exactly.
once upon a time. Like that's part of my
Mhm.
life. Even though I'm not doing no more,
Exactly.
but it's part of my life. So, but yeah.
Man, that's DNA now. Somebody walk up and want to catch a quick jab, like, oh man, you can't. You like, bro, you gotta let me have you. I'm sorry. Man, come on, come on, let's go put this thing on your lip, man. You bleed. Come on. Yeah, man. But yeah, music though, man. Music, yeah, that's just create that creativity, is everything.
So, do you have anything you listen to kind of get you inspired, or you just let things in life inspire you? As far as
Kind of
like,
the same.
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's kind of the same. It's sometimes I could take quiet time, just definitely that time for prayer and meditation, whatever, just prayer, dude. Just that quiet time. Even when I'm driving, most of the time if I'm up super early in the morning or whatever, I don't listen to anything. I just keep it quiet. To just what have you, just me and God speaking. That's it. Just talk. And that quiet time is important. Try to have definitely some prayer time to kind of to get me through whatever it is. So again, I haven't been in any wrecks, thank you, Lord. I had a few close calls, whatever, but just knowing how to maintain and keep whatever, and just know that okay, you got me. Just keeping that. Um, but when I get going again, I listen to like everything from like lo-fi, definitely hip hop. I listen to jazz. I could listen to R&B. I could listen to reggae. I could listen to funk, which is FUNK, and then there's funk, PHONK. And if you
Like
don't know
Parliament,
about that, you said what?
like Parliament.
Well, yeah, you got funk, but then there's funk, PHONK. That's actually another subgenre within
Mm.
itself. I say this: pitch a lot of the Memphis rap that we all came up with from, DJ Squeaky, Project Pack, the Project Players, all the whole camp that came out of Memphis with some modern trap beats with the twist, but they still keep the cuts and the samples from the original record in something more modern. And you got a lot of folks, especially in Memphis, where they do the Memphis juking, the dances. They will kill it to those beats, kill them. And there's stuff that you can drive to, like drifting or whatever. They got like drift music where they incorporate that Memphis sound into some modern trap beats and some retro wave. I said, dude, check it out. It's dope. So I'm like,
Mm.
yeah. So me trying to create something like that, I said that's probably gonna be the next step. Just gotta try to buckle down and focus.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. You sound like me though, cause like early in the mornings when I'm driving, like I like to be quiet. I don't want to hear anything. I just gotta get to my thoughts. Like I said, talk to God, meditate, whatever I got to do.
Mm-hmm.
Work out problems myself. Cause sometimes if I talk to myself, I have the answers to whatever I'm dealing with. I can figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I may look crazy,
Yeah,
but whatever. It is what it is,
no,
man.
we all create some form of fashion. It just comes out
Absolutely.
in different ways.
That is so true, man. We all have our
It
own
just
issues
comes
for
out
sure.
in ways, man. We good.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, yeah. Well, like I'm happy for you, man. Like I'm really glad you're taking this step to get yourself some help, man. For real, real talk,
Man,
man. That's so important, especially with you having a family. They need to see that for real.
right. Yeah, that's it, man. And again, I encourage people, man, definitely take care of your brain.
Absolutely.
There was a cartoon that came on Rugrats. The funniest person on that show, I don't care what nobody said, was their grandfather. He was hilarious.
Yeah.
He had, I think there was something. The baby Tommy, he wanted some candy, and something to the extent he was like, "Oh, he's like, man, it was something. There was some nonsense going on TV." And he says, "Hey, oh, you want some candy?" He said, "Good, I want some too." He said, "I'd rather rot my teeth than rot my brain." I just laughed like, dude. I was like, dude, that's funny. But then again, I thought about it. As you get up there in age, yeah, you can get you some new teeth, but once your brain goes, that's it.
Yeah, that's true. That is so true,
That's
man.
it. It was
Right.
so.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I didn't. Yeah. When I heard him say that myself a long time ago, I didn't even think about it. I just thought it was just funny. But like you said, once you get older, you start to understand, a lot more. You know what I mean? So.
Right.
And then also me like being around like when I was around like boxers or whatever, like seeing it, like seeing people having brain damage, that clicked with me too. I'm
Ooh,
like, geez, I'm like, yep, I don't
yeah.
want to be like that at all. So that's pretty
Right.
scary.
Like, yeah. Not think about Riddick Bowe, man. Golly, man. Woof.
Look at James Tony
Yeah.
too.
Oh wow. Dang, bro. Say it hurt. Like, dude,
It is.
Giants in the ring, and yeah, I was like, wow. So all they had was like fight videos and this and highlight reels from what they used to do to compare to where they are now. Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
It is, and you hear them speak. You see their motor skills slow down a lot more, and see a lot of that stuff come from like them gym wars, like sparring hard in the gym. That's what a lot of people get
Hmm.
hurt at. Because I've done it myself. Like that's what people really get hurt is at the gym when they sparring like really crazy. Seriously.
Mm,
Yeah, geez, yeah. So that's like one of the reasons why I kind of stayed away too. Well, besides me moving out here, but yeah, I
hmm
start thinking about that. I start thinking about my brain, and I graduated school and all that. I'm like, you know what? I got a brain. I'm smart. I don't need to be doing this shit. Like, I like to learn it. I like to spar sometimes, but as far as taking it
Right.
serious, like, nah. I gotta have my brain, man. I got to have it
Yeah.
because, like you said, we don't
Again,
get another brain. Go ahead.
you rather rat your teeth than rot your brain.
I'd rather not write either one of them, but if I had a choice, I'd rather go with the teeth.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, 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 you're rotting your teeth. Yeah, you go before going to bed at night. You be gargling with Jolly Rancher juice or something like that. Just
man, it's cold, man. Jeez, man.
oh,
So let me
but
ask you this: how are you feeling right now? By the way, mentally,
man, I'm tired. I feel tired,
mentally, you feel
but
tired, or physically, you feel tired, or both?
a little bit of both, man. But then again, it's just like I love my family, man, and I think about them all the time, and it's like it always gives that extra push I need. So it's like, yeah, I love them. Wouldn't change it, man.
And bro, what you having girls, man? That's important that you're doing what you're doing right now for yourself. Cause they need to see what a real man do. They need to see that. So when they grow up, they
Right.
know what to look for when it comes to dating a man, right?
Right.
That's important,
And know what to avoid, what to be like, oh no, this dude, nah, heck no.
right? Exactly. We know we dudes. We know. we definitely know.
Right.
It's a big difference.
Exactly.
So yeah, man. So I commend you for doing that for them, man. Like you're a great influence for those kids, man.
Man, I try, man. I just try to do the best I can with what's given to me and what I'm still learning.
Absolutely. It's a never ending journey, man. While we still alive, we always
Yeah.
learning every single day, bro.
Mhm.
But I commend you for real. I do. I know I keep saying like a broken record, but I really do commend you, man. Like you showed a lot of
Man,
growth over the years, man. I'm really proud of you, man.
yeah, so did my hair, because when you guys saw me, I had locks, I had the suckers, and it was
Man,
it was just
you like the
it was
predator back
time.
then, man. For
Oh
real. You just
wow, we got okay. Okay. All right, there's a receipt for that one. Patrick want to roast me on a podcast. Good to go.
nah, man. No, man. I was just saying, man.
I'm gonna be saying too. Keep going. Oh man, it's cool. It's cool, man.
Nah, y'all was young on me and my sister and everybody else, man. So
No, it's more. It's more. I roast Jay. I said, Jay, I love you. I love you to pieces. The saddest part about it, you see you laughing harder because you be laughing. You don't do nothing. She be like, why you laughing with us? I was like, 'cause it's funny. That's why. Oh my goodness, man.
She know it's
But
funny too.
yeah, she be wanting to beat me up. I'm like, girl, stop. Don't beat me up. I bruise easily. Move.
Man, I remember my nephew had bit you. Man, that was so messed up.
But your nephew about to get punted right underneath the table, but I didn't know what that was. Like, dude, what the shit? Baby shark my behind. Like, man, you better move that man too. Yeah. Man would have been messing around snaggletooth. Like, man, don't do that to people, man. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know why he did that, man. He must have been
I
hungry or
don't
something. I don't know.
hungry like dog. You about to be sipping on a milkshake for a minute. Yeah. Yeah, you can't bite through
Man,
no steak or chicken. Yeah, so we're gonna have to go ahead and puree it for you. Here, drink this.
man, that threw me off. I'm like, I said, what in the? I said, why you jumping up like that? And I saw him crawl, come from the table. I was like, oh man, that's so messed
All
up. I said, wow.
right, I said, Jay, I promise you, if you didn't get that little boy, he would have been drinking some chicken pot pie for about a while. Like, stop,
Chicken pot pie.
mama,
Man.
this is good. Gluck, gluck, gluck. Ah.
Man, oh my god, man, that was crazy though. Wow.
Nah,
Jeez, I don't think he meant it, but that was just I just didn't expect that.
he meant that with every smile in the teeth, just sitting there. He they be playing like they don't mean it, but they mean that mess.
What did you do to him, man?
Dude, I'm sitting there with the drum machine with you, and I just felt that. I don't what the dude. I'm like, what the. I'm serious. He was about to get punt. He was about to get a punt.
Oh man, I couldn't even get mad about that because like I would have been the same way too, to be honest. I'm
Yeah,
like, what
knowing
the hell was that? Hmm.
I don't know, like bing with a closed fist. Like, oh damn, my bad.
Oh man, yeah, reflexes kick in, man. I can't even lie, it do kick in for real. So
Man,
man,
that was my initial reflex, but woof, boy,
jeez,
whoo, boy,
man.
woosah.
I know, man. Woosah, woosah. Oh, okay. So now I'm about to segue into your cooking. All right. So I remember you made it. I remember, I got to do that, man. Come on now. You made me a cake one time, man. A pound cake.
A banana,
Yeah.
banana cream or banana pound cake.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, man. Man, where did you learn how to make that?
Well, it was a lady at my church at the time, Miss Deborah. The pound cakes that she made, it was the closest that I was going to get from another great woman. She was my grandmother's best friend, Miss Hilda May Gaspard. Miss Hilda's pound cakes are legendary because everything she did them from scratch, and her cakes will probably last about maybe 10 minutes, maybe. And I said I have never found anybody that can make one like hers, and I found that person. And I asked her, "Could you please teach me how to make this?" And she was like, "All right, I'm gonna see you next week." So she was old school with it, so she had everything written down. She says, "Follow this, blah blah blah. Follow this, and once you get good at it and you memorize it, then you start incorporating other stuff, and that's when you make it your own." So she showed me. Miss Hilda was that foundation that was like, man, if somebody makes a pound cake, it's got to be like this. But Miss Deborah was the one who poured into me. Of course, as a kid with Miss Hilda, we saw her, but we never had the chance to really sit down and do it. But Miss Deborah's like, here, you old enough, follow this. And once I figured out how to make this, the other ideas started clicking. I'm like, you know what? Let me do this. And I just started coming up with all these flavors, just boom, 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 boom. And I can do them for the most part.
Wow. Well, that was impressive, man. Like I I was glued to that. When I tried to say, I was like, oh my God, I said, what in the world? And yeah, I mean, you're a beast, man. That's probably like the best pound cake I ever tasted in my life for real, man. It was real
Man,
moist. It was just perfect, man. And that's real.
that
Seriously,
just
man.
comes with love, man, and I appreciate it. And the one I made for your sister, she wanted a pumpkin pound cake.
Oh, that
Okay,
sounds amazing.
made it with a graham cracker crust on top of it.
Oh
Yes.
Lord, have mercy, man. That sounds great. Jesus, man. God damn.
So yeah, she loved it. So she would rap like at the time Christmas. She is the rapping queen. Like gift
Facts.
wrapping. Oh
I
boy,
agree.
I'm like, look, if you got to get rid of a dead body, call it. No, I'm just kidding. No,
Oh Lord, have
no,
mercy.
no, no. But
Joking.
she's dope with. She's cold. She's cold with it, man. So I said, look, if you wrap these gifts, I will make a pound. I'll make you a pound cake of your choice. He said, I just started naming flavors. He said, let me do pumpkin. All right, got you. And I showed up. Frankie at the time where he was at, showed up with the made from scratch pound cake, fresh. Man, yeah, they dove into a couple of slices themselves right then and there.
Oh, Frankie had some too.
Oh yeah,
What did he think about it?
and yeah, yeah,
Okay.
mm, yeah.
Nice, man. Well,
So
you a
yeah,
beast.
everybody's man. I humbly appreciate that, man. That I have my moments. Trust me.
Oh nah, bro. Like you a dog when it come to that. When it come to baking, like you a beast with that stuff for real, man. Real talk.
Man, I appreciate it, man. I'm like I said, I'm just a humble dude. I just do it.
Absolutely. Well, and then you see your grandparents taught you how to cook too, right?
Yeah, one of the influences, cause man, my grandparents had that house smelling like heaven, dude. It was like, dude, you knew it. It's like you knew what you were gonna have to eat. Like if I came back from running errands with my grandfather, whatever. Like the minute we got to the carport, we pulled in or just pulled to the side of the street. You turn the corner before you even enter the house. You can smell everything. I say, oh, that smells like red beans. Open up the door, man, and that's when it really hits you. As you get closer to the kitchen, it gets stronger and stronger, and showing up a big old pot of red beans. I said, "Oh yeah,
That sound amazing, man.
man." Homemade meatballs and spaghetti. The way she did her meatballs, man, was oh my goodness, man. Garlic chicken, garlic crabs, gumbo, jambalaya, dirty rice. I mean, the list goes on, man. It was never a dull moment at my grandparents' house, yo. It was never a dull moment, and that one day, I think I was about 14. I literally just looked at my grandma. I said, Grandma, can you please teach me how to make this? Oh, she spared no expense, boy. She's like, if you cut up these onions, you're gonna cut them up, man. Felt like somebody used, I don't know, somebody used pepper spray as an aerosol can, dude. Them, man, my eyes were watering, like, oof, bad. Like, Grandma, I can't cut these onions. She said, boy, stop playing to cut them onions and put them in a thing. But she did not. She spared no expense. She put me through the ringer.
Oh, she wasn't playing no games at all.
Nah, she did not care. She like, you want to learn how to cook? Good. You're gonna go through this, and every step she showed me.
Damn. And look at you
And
today, man. Look at you now. Look at you,
now it's
man.
now, yeah, man. Shoot, my wife knows how to make this now too, so she's cold with
Oh, you put through the ringer
it.
too, huh?
No, she know how to cook, but cooking New Orleans food is a little different, man. You have to have, man, if you don't have patience, you're going to fail.
That
You
makes
got
sense.
to have patience. You
Right.
got to, because all your work comes from your prepping. That is the major part. If you don't, you can make it the same day, whatever, it'll come out decent, but when you had that time to do that prep work beforehand, like a day before, oh, then you really gonna see what's happening.
Right. So I was gonna ask this since we talking about New Orleans. Okay. How did
Hmm.
Katrina affect you and your family?
Well, most of my family, it was rough because again, everything that you knew is like it's just gone. So everybody had to literally grab what they could and go. I had cousins out there in Donaldsonville where they made it, kind of basic, about 10, like 15 miles out, 20 miles away from Baton Rouge. So they made it out that way. I had some cousins that made it here to Georgia, where, like I said, we had an extra room or so. They came and kicked it with us, whatever, for however long they needed to before they bounced. I had some cousins that went to Texas, different parts of Texas, from either Dallas to San Antonio. I mean, a lot of people literally had to go out for a minute, and and then of course the stories like living in FEMA trailers and this, where I mean, it was just like surreal, man. It's like something. The only way I could describe it from my end, it's like something that you would see in a movie, but it really is a reality now. Like all the stuff that you've seen in the movie, when something happens, boop 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 boop, and then when it's happened to my peoples for real, it's like wow. My One of my cousins, rest his soul, he told me his experience, and again, it was something like a movie, a video game, where they had to grab what they could, get into a boat. And I think there was like about 8 of them, maybe 10, and one of which was my aunt, and she's a diabetic. So she
Jeez.
did not want to step in that water, so he had to literally carry her little 100-pound soul body on his shoulder to get her in the boat, and he had to go back in and grab her medication, give it to her, and then go off. And they said literally after that storm hit, there was not a cloud in the sky. It was calm. There was no light. The only light they had, it was coming from the moon. So they literally had to paddle. So they got from where they were at. They said they had to make it all the way to basically downtown where the Superdome is. That was where they had to go. So they paddled and they were tired. So they got to they found a project where they got to. So they literally were on the upper level. So they got to the upper level, tied the boat up, woo, 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 hopped in a building where a window was there. They rested, and when they woke up the next morning, they saw the water was coming up. It risen and it's still going. It was like, yo, we gotta hurry up and get up out of here. So they got back in that boat, untied it, and they kept paddling till they got all the way towards the Superdome. And that's when the National Guard and everybody was there, and so forth. I was like, dude, again, it's I just had to like just keep cool, man, for the most part, and my heart goes out to them. And it's like you wish you could do something, but it's like, what could you do?
Right.
But if you had some stuff here that they can get to you, I was like, hey, man, you guys, you need a place to crash, yo, just holler at me, man. Come on, just let us know where you at. Just come on through. And I remember talking to my grandfather too, because my grandfather was up there in age, and the last time I heard him, you could barely hear him. The wind was like that strong. You could barely hear anything. And I said, Grandpa, I love you. Go with Auntie and Unc, man. Just stay with them. Get up in there. Go, please. Just be safe. That was it. And of course, all the communications were down for a while until they got stuff running again, and I was able to talk to them, and I was good. And just
Wow.
knowing that, of course, everybody made it out alive for the most part that I know of. Everybody was good, and they evacuated in time.
Man, I can envision everything you said, man. I can really see all that.
When he told me that story, when I lit, all I could do was get quiet, dude. Just listen to him, like, yeah, it's like, again, it was like a movie. Like it's based. I'm thinking that it was like it's like a movie, but no, this was real life.
Jeez,
And
man.
and of course they were robbing people.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And yeah, so they were robbing folks. So, and of course in this boat you had my aunt who was the elder, you had my cousin, you had the other cousin, and you had the babies, the little cousins. So yeah, they ain't gonna let nothing happen to any of them. So folks out there had heat. They had heat too. They were ready. They was like, "You are not gonna come take this boat from us. No, we're not playing with y'all."
Man, that's crazy, bro. Like I'm sure people got killed. Well, I know people got killed doing that shit. You know what I mean? Like dealing with that stuff.
Right.
Oh, jeez, man, that's wow. That was crazy because I met a few refugees that came to Georgia during that time. I met a few
I,
gangsters that was there. I think some
I,
of them went back. I believe.
I won't say refugees, man.
Well, you know
I
what I
don't
mean.
even
Yeah.
right. I was like, I don't say refugees, man. It was, but as time moved on, we all knew the true story of how that happened. I said that was jacked up.
Yeah.
It
And it
was
took so
jacked
many.
up.
It took so many days for them to even get help, which is pretty messed up.
Mm. And then my one of my uncles had a awesome idea. He looked at it. He was like, okay. He's like, I was like, Pop, what's up? He was like, how come? He said, with all the money that they have, that they're gonna recuperate from, because the first thing they opened up was the casinos and this and this. Because I get it, you got to keep money going, whatever the case may be. He asked that question, how come they won't reach out to those engineers over there in Holland that created the dike system? Because remember, Holland sits way below sea level. It's like a bowl.
Mm,
So if water comes in, the dike systems pump it right back out into the ocean where it goes. So I ask this: when have you ever heard about Holland being flooded?
mm. Wow, that's something
Sh-
to think about for real.
Right. So they was like, how come they won't just reach out to the engineers over there in Holland and design a dike system for Louisiana, for New Orleans, and just in Louisiana in general? Because Louisiana had bad cases of flooding, but way before Katrina. If it rained real hard, oh, it was gonna flood.
Jesus.
But but this right here was just this right here was something on steroids. It was just uncontrollable. You know what I mean? So if rain did that and it flooded then, so just imagine what a hurricane would do later on in life, and you see the result.
Man, that's so sad, bro. Like that's I felt y'all pain. I did. Like even though I wasn't there, but like I was in Georgia, and I remember people coming through, and I heard the stories, like the horror stories of the jackings and
Right.
the killings, and people living in the Superdome and all that. I had a buddy of mine I met. I'm trying to interview her real soon, but her name is Dana. I met her at
Mm,
art school too, because she had just she had moved to Atlanta from New Orleans. I
mm,
forgot which part of New Orleans she's from, which ward, but yeah, she told me some stuff, and I'm like, geez, man, yeah, yeah, pretty sad,
mm.
man, sad shit.
Yeah, another guy in school. He was part of, I think, the Army of the National Guard. He was on full time active duty, and he had his rifle, and he saw folks that were underneath the bridge where they just left them. They had people there that were supposed to bring them. They said, we're going to come back. They left them and never went back from. They just left them. I mean, I was like, wow. And they were on edge, so they had weapons. And this guy was pretty big. He was like, hold on, I mean no harm. So he slung his rifle a certain way, and he put his rifle muzzle down behind him, and he had both his hands and said, dude, no, relax. He had both his hands up, like, look, I'm not going to hit you, harm you, whatever. He said, I want to know what happened, what's going on. And they told him what I just told you, and it was like, wow. So they had to really try to get these folks still out there who had help, but they decided not to help them, to get them help.
Man, that's wild, man. That's some movie stuff for real though. Good lord.
Right. And it's like all these stories I hear from other folks who are in it. You know what
Right,
I mean?
man.
So yeah, bro, it's a lot of stuff was put to the test that day. The spirit of the city. When we didn't have the Superdome to play in, and then of course when they got the Superdome up and the Saints, that was the heart of the city, man. We needed that. You know what I mean? A lot of folks, marriages, they said like marriage, you're gonna go through the highs and lows and in betweens, dude. And this is one of those things that I know a lot of folks went through, and they had each other's back, and they held it down.
Right.
You
That's
know,
huge.
and yeah, everybody wants the good, but I said no. You got to pick the other stuff that come with it, man. It's not going to be sunshine and rainbows every day, so you're going to go through some stuff.
Right. I mean, because we go through stuff by ourselves, so let alone with other people. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it
Boy,
go.
exactly. Yeah,
Man.
that's part of it.
Well,
You
I
took that.
stand. I'm sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
No, I said you took that oath, so yeah, you're gonna have people hold you to it. So yeah, for good times, bad sickness, and health, to death do you part. Let's go.
Facts, man. I still just send out my prayers and thoughts to everybody who dealt with that Katrina situation, man. For real, the whole
Right.
Gulf of Mississippi area, man. I still feel bad about to this day because I met a lot of cool people during that time
Mm-hmm.
period. I did. I mean, some of them ended up going back. I think some of them got killed, I believe. But yeah, I ended up meeting all kind of people. Met gangsters from there as well, which was there was some cool people too.
Right.
Yeah, it's just it was such a horrible situation, man. A lot of stuff they didn't talk about
Mm.
in the news that was going on. A lot of stuff in the news they kind of left out. So you know how it go.
That part.
Yep, you already know.
That
Yep. So,
that part.
jeez, man. Wow.
Man, this. But yeah, so of course, like rapper Sporty T, from
He
Big
got
Boy
killed.
Records. Yeah, they shot. Yeah, he was in the FEMA trailer. They shot it up. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I heard he got shot with AK-47. I believe, right? I think
Yeah,
so.
they shot the whole trailer up. He was in it. I don't know. They hit it, and he was in it. I was like, wow, dude, come on. So,
Yeah.
but I say this: after Katrina, after everything, they try to get it squared away where you could kind of get in and out of the city. When I actually went through there and see what happened, and it's again a movie. It's like a movie set or a video game. It was like surreal. All the stuff that you remember and love, it got destroyed. The house that we used to live in, further down on Elysian Fields or whatever, off of Fillmore Avenue, there was a house that we lived in. Oh wow. Oh, my fault.
No, you
Dang,
good.
somebody tried to call me and I had to hit that. I had to end it.
Oh, you good.
Um but I was
I was wondering
saying
what's going
like
on. I thought you had lost your mind for a second. I was like, what the heck?
no
Go
no no
ahead.
ooh, no. No, but yeah, you'll fix it in that. You'll fix it in post. I'm
Oh
sure
no,
you
we
see it.
we
But
leaving this, baby. We leaving this like this. Oh yeah, we leaving it.
even the pause, I'm like,
Yes.
what happened? Shoot, like, Dad, I had a phone call. Yeah, do some editing, man. Come on, man. There was a long pause. He just looked at me for a minute. I said, "No, somebody called me. I had to end the call, man. Golly." No, but
This show your personality, man.
oh, great. No, no,
But go ahead,
but
my bad.
no, man. But it was just like the stuff that you seen when you actually able to drive through there, in the house that we used to live in off of Fillmore. It was just a lot. It was gone. I was
Damn.
like, dude, there was a house that was right here. That house is gone. I was like, wow. The house that my grandparents built, it sustained a lot of damage on the inside, but it still remained intact. Because one of the things my grandfather, when he built that home, it was one of the few houses on that neighborhood that he built from with brick.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that house is special because I said that belonged to my grandparents. He built that house. It was for him, my grandmother, my uncle, and my father. It was big enough for them. And after he built, the funny story, not to get off the subject about that house. After he built that house, he told my grandmother and my great grandparents and uncles and them to meet him at this address. Here's how you get there. When they came to that house, they was like, "What is this?" He said, "This is our house," and he proposed to my grandmother, and they got married in that house.
Wow.
So it's that house has a lot of history in it, man. A lot of us were raised in that house. My cousins from California, Nate. Yeah, I'm giving names: Nate, Kevin.
What's up, Nate? Kevin,
Um,
what's up?
my deceased cousin Tracy, man, rest her soul.
Rest in peace.
That's why I met them for the first time. My cousin Janak, man, she's dope as all get out, man. I met her there through my auntie Pauline when they came in town from LA, man. My auntie Ann. And like I said, all those memories. And my brother-in-law Philip, yeah, I met my before he became my brother-in-law. I met him when I was like 7 years old, 7, 8 years old, man. And
Wow.
look how things just came back full circle. And that
Yeah.
was his first time in New Orleans. When he got a taste of that food, I said, "Oh yeah, it's a wrap."
Oh, you hooked. Yeah.
It was a wrap. I said, "Yeah, man." So it was a lot of good times there, man. That house, like a lot of us were raised in that house, man. And my cousins, they're holding it down, man. Just making sure nothing happens to it. My aunt, uncles, of the family, man. That house is, yeah, that's everything.
So, how much has New Orleans changed pre Katrina and post Katrina?
Um, well, before there was a lot of us there. They had a lot of, like I said, family owned, black owned businesses, man. This one of the first places that I saw it was New Orleans. Now it's gentrified, man. It is gentrified like crazy because a lot of the family owned businesses, there's like maybe a few of them there. You got some new ones popping up, but it'll never be like how it was. Um, all the projects, those are done. They tore them all down. They're
Yeah,
they're
because
done.
you have family in downtown and uptown, right?
I have family everywhere. And they're still, dude. I still have family out there. I still haven't even met yet.
Hmm.
I mean, it's crazy. So I mean, I have family everywhere, and so all the projects are gone. They're redoing all the cities. A lot of folks are moving in, and they're buying up all the properties, doing this and this and the third. And a lot of folks who were there before, they have nothing to come back to, or had nothing to come back to, or when they come back to it, it's like they don't want to be there no more. They try to their best to have whoever get their stuff in order, but then they can't afford to live there no more because they want to go ahead and just up the price on everything.
So, what do you think about gentrification? What's your opinion on it?
Man, it's to me, it's sad because honestly, it's like we had something of our own, and it's like, okay, how do we let it get to this? And then something along that Killer Mike said, or Michael Render, for those who want to be politically correct, says something like, we had stuff, but we never owned it. But if we would have owned the land and the homes, like literally owned the stuff that we had, it wouldn't have gotten to this. Because we actually could have been like, no, we're not moving. We own this.
Right,
So now that we have the knowledge, now, okay, let's see how much of this are we going to apply.
right.
So it's, and the gentrification, how it's going on in New Orleans, literally, kid you not, I felt like a stranger in my own city, man, or where I was from. All that, man. I felt like a complete stranger. Cause you're like, yeah, because those visions that you see, like, yeah, we used to play park over here. There used to be folks playing outside, this and this. Now, like the neighborhood that my grandparents lived in, where we grew up at, it was predominantly us. Now you go back there, it's a whole different story. There's probably like a few people who's from the old school that's still around. There's like maybe a few of them. Other than that, man, everybody's new, moving in from Lord knows where, saying, "Oh, I'm from here." No, you're not. You just got here a few years ago. I don't remember seeing you here ever until recently.
Hmm. Wow. Gentrification for me, it always been a mixed thing. Like I see the benefits as far as like clean up areas, right? Like clean up like crime ridden areas. I get all that, but then it's like you pricing people out. You're not really correcting the problem, the issues that goes on.
Mhm.
Like you just pushing somewhere else instead of fixing it.
Right,
You know what I mean? So then you take away the character of the city and what brought people there in the first place.
right.
So I don't know. It's just it's a mixed thing to me. I don't even know. It's like I agree with it, but I don't at the same time.
Mhm. Yeah, you know how it goes, man. So
Right.
it's you know how it goes, man. So it's like what can you do?
Just keep living, just keep grinding, do what we got to do, for real. Like, just keep building ourselves. That's it. I mean, I'm working on building myself for real. I'm trying to make this thing a big conglomerate one day and just keep doing me. That's all I can do. And try to help people along the way as well. Once I'm more established. It's recorded on my end. Interesting. Well, I guess we can, we'll just cut it for now.